Hey everyone, welcome. If you're leading a business, you've felt it. That feeling of complexity. It's not just some buzzword, right? It's like a thick fog that can stop growth in its tracks and make every decision feel uncertain. So how do you cut through it? Today, we're going to look at a framework that's built to do exactly that.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, think about it. The day-to-day operational hurdles, the big financial unknowns, the crazy pace of digital change, these things can tie any organization up in knots. And what's the real price you pay for leaving those knots untied?
Exactly. That's the heart of the problem. And the solution isn't just throwing more data at it or scheduling more meetings. What you really need is genuine clarity. That feeling of confidence to make the right calls that actually move the needle. That's what PramaLogic Advisory is all about.
Okay, but look, anyone can make a promise. The proof is always in the results. So before we get into their methods, let's look at the actual numbers behind their experience-led approach because, honestly, these results speak for themselves.
First up, this giant number, over $150 million in cost savings. And let's be super clear here. This isn't about just slashing budgets left and right. This is about finding smart efficiencies that you can then turn around and use to fuel your company's growth. And then you've got to look at the scale we're talking about. Managing over $1.5 billion in procurement spend. Wow, that's not just a number. That is a massive vote of confidence from their clients. It shows they can handle incredibly high-stakes operations with absolute precision. And results like these don't just pop out of a textbook. They are built on a solid foundation of more than 25 years of real-world industry leadership. This is wisdom that's been earned in the trenches, not just learned in a classroom. And this one might be the most important of all, especially today. A 100% track record in compliance and governance. In a world full of risk, that is huge. It means they deliver results without cutting corners, executing every single time with incredible discipline. So, the big question is, how do they do it? How do they get these kinds of results? Well, it's not magic, that's for sure. It's a very specific, repeatable methodology. Let's break down the 4-step framework they use to make sure everything is done with precision.
So here it is, the precision framework. It's actually pretty straightforward. It all kicks off with deep analysis, which means every decision is backed by hard data, not just a gut feeling. That insight then fuels the strategic planning phase. From there, it's all about rolling up your sleeves for meticulous execution and monitoring to actually make the plan happen. But it doesn't just stop. The final crucial step is continuous improvement, which creates this feedback loop so the organization is always getting smarter and adapting.
All right, so we've seen the track record and we've seen the framework they use. Now let's get into the what. What are the actual tools in their toolkit? What services do they offer to tackle all these business challenges we've been talking about? You can see their practice is really built on these 7 core pillars. It covers the whole spectrum, from the 30,000-foot view strategy all the way down to building skills on the ground. It's a really holistic way of looking at a business. Let's touch on each one real quick. So it all starts with a solid foundation, right? Strategic consulting is about setting that North Star for the business. Where are we going? But a brilliant strategy means nothing if you can't execute. And that's where operational excellence comes in, fine-tuning the engine of the business to make it run smoother, faster, and better. Then, of course, they focus on the money with financial advisory, making sure every decision is financially sound. And today, that's completely tangled up with digital transformation. We're talking about using tech like AI and automation to build a real, lasting competitive advantage. Now this is something you don't see from every firm. They have a dedicated service just for MSME solutions. For anyone wondering, that's micro, small, and medium enterprises. They offer tailored support to help these smaller, vital businesses scale up with the right structure so they can really compete and grow. And they finish it off with 2 offerings that are pretty unique. Corp TP, that's their corporate training practice. It's designed to build up your team's skills from the inside, so the improvements stick around. And then there's BL Press, their publishing arm, which takes all that expertise and turns it into thought leadership that can actually help shape the whole industry. So, you see, when you put all of that together, the proven track record, that discipline framework, and this whole suite of services, you start to get a really clear picture of how they work with businesses to build a real, sustainable path to success. So why them? Well, it really boils down to these 3 things. First, you get data-driven insights, not just someone's opinion. Second,
They build tailored solutions because your business isn't a cookie-cutter copy of someone else's. And finally, and maybe most importantly, they are all about strategic execution, turning those great ideas into actual results you can see and measure.
At the end of the day, this is really an invitation. For any leader out there who's tired of fighting through the fog and wants to drive real, tangible growth, the path forward is right there. It's time to get it done.
Because, you know what? Success isn't some final destination you just arrive at. It's a journey. And having a partner who can bring clarity and discipline to that journey, well, that can make all the difference in the world.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at your own business, at all the challenges on your plate, what's the very first complex decision you'd love to make simple, clear, and totally confident? Because the answer to that could be your very next breakthrough.